slow it down, baby. It's good, it's beautiful, but now I need you to do it faster, baby. Can you please do it faster, baby? Do it faster. Damn, baby, I can't do it that fast, but I know somebody who can. I got you looking at the place on my hands and wrist while I'm laying back and smoking on my cannabis.
101 TKO Radio, happy Monday, guys. It's your girl, I am Chelsea Speaks, and we are back in the lab. It's an interesting Monday because we are halfway through the year, and I had a very special guest to reach out to me. I feel like a low-key groupie a little bit, but I'm not going to be that way today. You know, you may have seen her around the community. You may have seen her running up and through Privy, being busy, or you might have seen her at Albany State. You know, we'll give a little shout out. But listen, my special guest today is Mayor Jazzmin Cobble. Y'all put your hands together for the mayors in the space.
Hey.
Hey, Mayor Jazzmin.
Hey.
First of all, I have
Go
to say
Rams.
this.
Just gotta get that
She got
out loud.
you had to put that out there.
Go Rams.
Go Rams.
Bleed blue and gold.
Yep. You still bleeding blue and gold?
All day.
How often do you go to Albany?
Oh man, a couple times a year.
For real?
Yeah. Last year I was the convocation speaker for homecoming, so that was a big deal for me. It was good to be back, and to see. So I actually went twice in a very short period of time. I went back to be the student government or the student leaders conference keynote speaker.
Okay.
And then the following month went back for convocation. So it was really crazy to be there back to back.
Oh my gosh!
But to see the students where I was and not too long ago.
You had to put that in not too long ago.
It wasn't. But it was certainly fulfilling. I mean, it was remarkable, and one to see the progress that the school has made, but also just to look out to see, you know, the students who I was just them not too long ago, and they were just taking it all in. It was really cool. So anything from my alma mater for sure.
It's interesting because did you ever think that you would end up being a mayor when you walked into college? What was your dream? Like, what did you go in for originally? I'm scared to ask. The way she laughing is like, oh Lord.
No, because I had no intentions, not even a thought of being someone's mayor.
Really?
No. My ultimate dream, I laugh because it's.
Is it so far left from?
It's not far, but it's a different path completely.
Okay.
So I wanted to be a top-notch lawyer that would have a penthouse in downtown Atlanta with a Range Rover and a chef, no kids, no dog, just out here living, right? So that was like,
that was it.
That was it. Like that was it. I was gonna be this top-notch lawyer.
Okay.
Penthouse, Range Rover, done.
That was it.
That was it.
That was life.
Make money and enjoy life, and that was it.
Okay.
And that was the polar opposite of the way I grew up.
Really?
Yeah, polar opposite. So from the day I can remember, my mother has always been community service oriented.
Okay.
Always. She ran multiple nonprofits when I was growing up. We were in the projects, literally helping people get out of the projects while we were still there.
Wow.
Like the food distributions and pantries, we took a box, just like we were given boxes. But that was her calling. That was her thing. So
yeah.
I grew up like, I'm not doing this. Right, I am going to live a life
above, a completely opposite. I don't want to go back to those roots at all.
Yeah, and obviously that was not the plan from the man above. And here I am, following in her footsteps and elevating it even more. So yeah, it turned out much different than my.
Now I'm curious. Are you an only child? Like
no, I have a twin brother.
Like okay, when you say twin,
I'm a twin. Like we are fraternal twins. We were, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so with your journey, let me back it up. Now, where did you go to high school, Mayor?
So I graduated high school here.
Okay.
We moved here when I was a teenager. So I graduated from Druid Hills.
Really?
Yeah.
So you've been in Atlanta.
Scholars.
Right. You know, when you say Druid Hills, you have to Druid Hills, darling. So what was high school like for you? Like, were you in any SGA, government? You were?
Yeah, I was always very social. I was president of the Black Student Alliance.
Okay.
I was the varsity captain of the basketball team.
What?
I did ROTC. I was an officer.
You did ROTC?
Yeah, I got all the way up to senior chief ranking. Yeah. So
I'm curious. What was the purpose of ROTC in high school? Because I'm a creative, so I never understood. What did you guys get out of ROTC?
I mean, I like the structure.
Okay.
I like the discipline, and I like the challenge. So it was everything for me. I mean, I have a little bit of OCD. It's not as much as it used to be because I have a child now.
Okay.
So you have to just let go of some of it.
Mm-hmm.
But that structure was good for me. It motivated me.
Wow.
It challenged me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I flourished off of that. So it fed everything I needed. And I just enjoyed it. I mean, it really, really enjoyed it. I thought I was going to go to the military. I was very, very, very close.
Really? What would have been your like role in the military? What would you have wanted to do?
Probably something crazy.
I was trying to be in the choir in the military. Like, who wants to go to the
I
choir?
wanted to be like full on Marine, like go in.
Really?
Yeah.
You are like a battle heart. You like.
Yeah, I wanted to go all the way. Yeah.
So did you take the ASVAB? Did you?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah. And a recruiter and everything. Yeah.
So you was on your way.
Yeah.
So how did it end up saying? How'd you end up saying no to it and going to Albany?
That's funny you asked that because I mean I was like there, like boot camp ready, Paris Island. Here I go. Like I was ready to go, and I had some really really great mentors. So I worked in high school. It seemed like every free moment I had. But I worked at the YMCA in Decatur, Decatur.
Decatur,
YMCA.
okay.
I'm a Y baby, by the way. I mean, even in Philadelphia, like I grew up at the Y.
Really?
Yeah. I'm a YMCA baby. So YMCA, shout out.
What?
Come holler at us in Stonecrest all day.
That part.
So I worked there in the summers. When I went back home to Philly for the summer after we moved here, I worked at the YMCA. So I transferred here so I could work all year long, not just in the summer as a senior.
Okay.
I did like the work.
The work program.
Yeah. So I would leave school and then I'd go work at the Y.
Okay.
And so I just worked around some really great people at the YMCA who were just really encouraging me, like, just go to college. Don't go to the military. And it wasn't anything against the military. They just felt like.
You had more options.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had the GPA. I had the scholarships. I mean, I was going to the military because I liked it. Like, it wasn't because I didn't
You
have
are a really
choice.
structured person.
I was in. And so they convinced me. And my mom was very supportive of whatever decision I wanted to make. But I think she was a little bit nervous about, at the time where we were as a country, because I graduated high school in 2004.
So being deployed and all that.
So there was a lot there, a lot of nervousness. So anyway, I mean, I just took their advice and took my shot at going to Albany State, and it was the best choice I ever made.
Really?
Yeah.
So out of all your high
ROTC at Albany State.
in college too?
Yeah. So
they had to kick you out.
Yeah, because at some point you have to like enlist. Like you have to sign.
You just kept participating.
Like, this is life.
But you just loved it that much.
Yeah.
So out of all your college memories and all the structure you had, what memories stick out to you the most that you feel like kind of shaped your career and led you to this point? Like what?
Ooh, that's a good question because I thought you were going to ask me something.
We can go there now.
Wow. It's probably not one specific memory. It's probably just experiences of me being in different groups and clubs where I found myself still advocating for a group of folks whose voice was just low and needed to be elevated. So rather that was us wanting more experiences on campus or wanting to have more of a relationship with the faculty and staff who were making these decisions for our future. I mean, I just found myself continuously in organizations that were advocating for something or some group.
Wow.
And that experience of advocacy just... Little did I know. I mean, I still
it was
planning on
building.
being the attorney
Yeah.
for the condo, but
You was fighting for the people then.
yeah. Literally.
So what other memories do you have of college?
Those are probably the ones I want to talk about.
So speaking of that, I want to play a little game with you real quick. I got to play a little game with you. You ready?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you 3 questions. I'm scared to ask you these questions because she's the mayor, but you got to answer as honestly as you can within 3 seconds.
Okay.
First
Can I
question.
pass on something?
You can. First question. Who is your all-time celebrity crush?
Oh, wow.
It could be whether young or old.
Oh, my goodness.
Do you have one?
I'm trying to think if I ever had a crush.
Really?
Yeah, like,
You was
I
on.
have a lot of,
They don't let you have crushes in
I'm a
ROTC?
fan, but have I ever crushed on anyone?
Really? For real, Mayor
I
Jazzmin?
don't know that I've ever crushed.
Not even your husband?
Like, well,
Did that count?
yeah, for sure. But he's not a celebrity.
Okay. Well, any celebrities that you
Other than he's a celebrity to me. But
see? But no celebrity like mainstream
that I just like.
gushed over.
Yeah,
No.
I can't think of one that I just absolutely.
I believe you because you so laid back and cool. I don't even see you like being a fan
I'm
girl.
a fan of like their art,
Okay.
like, their music, but I don't know that I was like a crush. Like, oh my God, take me home.
I can't even see you being like that at all.
I don't like. I mean, I'm a huge Jay-Z fan.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm from Philly. Right?
Okay.
So northern music.
So are you
I'm
Freeway
attracted to
fan? Like
all day.
really?
Oh yeah.
So second question: when you
State
hop in your car,
property,
what's
all
the first thing you bumping?
When I get in the car, the first thing I'm bumping is right now is probably J. Cole.
Really?
Yeah.
The
and not
7-minute disc?
No.
No. What you bumping from J. Cole?
I mean, I listened to that one obviously, but I'm probably bumping. Because I just keep the J. Cole playlist going.
Okay.
So it's to all the albums.
So you just a big
it's
J. Cole
kicking.
fan?
Yeah, I'm a huge J. Cole fan.
Okay.
I'm a huge Wale fan.
Okay.
Which is neither of them are from Philly. I'm a Meek Mill fan, of course. And I'm like Flamer's Meek Mill fan. Like,
Okay, now when you say Meek Mill, are you still a Meek Mill fan after all the P. Diddy allegations?
I'm a fan of his music.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, people's lives are.
I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Yeah. I mean, and in Hollywood,
It's very, yeah.
Things are acceptable in places that may not be for the rest of us. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's why I never had a crush. Like, I mean, I'm a fan of the art.
The art, yeah.
So
Okay.
Not necessarily their individual selves.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so my third question, what do you feel like is a big misconception about you being mayor? Like, what's something that you feel like you just broken the stereotype to?
I think I have I have a different answer for those two questions.
Okay.
I think one thing that is a misconception about me is that because I hold the title of mayor, that there are things that I just don't care about anymore, which is far from the truth. And I don't think a title determines what you're passionate about anymore, which you're not. But for some reason, is some belief that because I'm the mayor, there are certain things that I just don't care about anymore. Where maybe they thought I cared about it as a council member, but now because I have the title, I just don't care about certain things, which is, like I said, could be farthest from the truth. My time and the way I prioritize obviously is much different because I'm dealing with the full city versus just prioritizing district issues. But to say that I don't care because I'm the mayor,
far beyond.
Yeah, is far beyond the truth. It's
Wow.
could be farthest from the truth. And then I would say, I think the one thing I've broken the mold on is just being relevant, but also in a professional space where I can be in the room with anyone and still carry Stonecrest proudly. And folks can be excited about what came out of the room because I was in it. And sometimes people think that it takes an older person to be able to carry themselves that way. And granted, I have a team of people around me who are older.
Right. Have y'all been up here?
Yeah. Because I do value the wisdom.
Absolutely.
And experience, for sure. But I think that with the right guidance and the right team, that anyone of any age can make a difference. But I think I have shaped that a little bit differently to say that, I can still wear my ripped jeans and Jordan 1s.
Or your Air
3s, or 4s, which are my favorite. And still
handle the business. Yeah. Wow.
But I know when to put a suit on, right? I'm not the one I think there is a difference sometimes with young professionals where it says, I'm going to be me regardless of the space I'm in. But there's also a level of decorum and professionalism that if you want certain folks to take you serious, you do have to be flexible. So I know when to wear a suit and when not to. I know when I can put on Jordans and still be respected versus having to be in a room in a full suit.
Right.
And I think I wear them both very well.
She be doing the doggone thing.
I think it is a balance between being young and proud and strong and loud about that, but also understanding when it's time to turn that switch a little bit. And I think the ability to be flexible is probably what breaks the mold the most.
I can definitely attest to that because I know when I first saw you, I was like, that's the mayor? Like, why she look fly? Like, why she cool, though? Like, I'm dapping her up like, oh, you with Albany? Okay, cool. Because I feel like our generation is so removed from politics because we tend to think that it doesn't affect us, not realizing that at any level we're being affected. So one of the questions I was thinking about in interviewing you, what is it that made them make Stonecrest a city? Because I've had people come, to the mall like, oh, when did Stonecrest? What was the catalyst for deciding that Stonecrest needed to be its own place?
Yeah. So there's, the county is really large. Mm-hmm. The county is actually the fourth largest county in the state.
Okay.
So what we wanted is to have focus on just our footprint. Mm-hmm. We wanted to see some level of service change for just our footprint. And when you're a large county and you're trying to balance services across the entire county, more than 300,000 some folks, it is difficult to create that focus in certain areas. So I think after a while, for so long of kind of asking for that attention in different ways, the community decided that if we want to build what we want as a community, then we've got to have government focus just here. And so that doesn't mean that we don't partner and collaborate with the county, because we certainly rely on much of their services still as we mature as a city. But it is different when you have folks every day just working for the best interests of Stonecrest. And that doesn't mean, again, that you can't partner with others to help you with that interest.
But there's a focus that's
there's
on...
a sole focus on these 38 square miles, on these 60 plus thousand residents. And as it grows, there's a level of service that we want to have here. There's a certain level of economic development that we're looking for here. There's a certain level of transit expansion that we're looking for here. There's a certain level of housing mix that we're looking for here. It's hard to do that when you're trying to also do that all over the county.
Absolutely.
So we just, no, for at least for me, no hard feelings toward the county. Again, we have to partner with them. We are, no matter what, we are a part of this state. We are a part of this county. You can't take that away. But we just wanted to build on that and focus just here.
Wow. So what are some of the things that you're looking to bring with your second run as mayor in the city of Stonecrest?
Yeah, that's a loaded question.
I know, right? I'm like, because I saw with Rick Ross one day. I'm like, is the car show going to be here? Like, actually, there is. Real quick, we got to pay some bills. You guys stay locked in. 678-439-7419. I have Mayor Jazzmin Cobble. If you have a question or you want to talk directly to the mayor herself, this your only chance you're going to get, because I don't do stuff for free. But anyway, y'all stay locked and loaded. 101 TK Radio, knocking them out the box. We'll be back in a minute, y'all.
What we gonna do now is go back.
That's
101 TKO Radio. We are back in the building. That was so high. We had to close it on now because we got Mayor Jazzmin Cobble on the ones and twos real quick. Listen, I'm over here getting all my little questions in. I just forgot about y'all over there because I want to know these things. So welcome back to the spot. We were just having an off-air conversation talking about women in politics and people's understanding of the government. So I want to back it up because I want our listeners to hear what you were saying when we were talking about, do you think that people have unrealistic expectations for the government, especially being in the mayor position?
Yeah, I definitely think that the first thing we have to do as a society is educate ourselves on the role of the elected officials, and that will help guide the discussion, but also the expectation of the result. We are in a democracy, right? So the very confines of that democracy means that most decisions are not made singularly, right? But yet there's always a focus on one person making the change singularly, and that is a misnomer. Right? It is the very democracy that we love so much that keeps power away from one person, but yet we expect one person
to be able to do it all,
to have the opportunity or the capability to fix it all.
Wow.
Right? But the decisions are not solely in the hands of one individual for each and every occasion. Right? So it's educating us first on what the role is, the limitations of those roles, and the authority that power has. Once we get that clarity, right, then we can start figuring out how do we get to the solution, who is responsible for the collective decision, and then who is the executor. Right? Because I think also there's a misunderstanding that the executor and the decision maker are always the same people. So I may get the city council on board with me to pass an ordinance or legislation and I'll do something very dramatic. Let's say that we pass a legislation that there shall not ever be another pothole.
Okay. Well, good luck with that.
Right, and certainly we would be roaring in cheers for that. But the expectation is not that the six of us will go then fill every pothole. Right. So every time there's a pothole,
Mayor, it's a pothole.
Right. So I'm not the executor of the legislation. Right. So we have to then say, okay, who is, and then who's responsible for making sure that this execution takes place. Right? Which we just talked about in that whole scenario. That's at least 7 different people. Right? But it's always the head of the organization,
that's
or the
looked
head
at
of the government is looked at as, you have failed in this area because you singularly did not get this done.
It's your fault.
Right. When there's many more players at the table. And certainly, the leaders, and I say organizations and government because I don't think this is any different than anywhere else. Right. I think a well-run government, a well-run organization.
A well-run business,
depends on people to have roles and everyone carrying out those roles and carrying their own weight. And as soon as someone doesn't, there is a gap in the process. And then their leader certainly has to find the gap and make a decision on how to fill it fast. But that doesn't change the expectation of the execution.
Right.
So there has to be why we have a government, why we have a democracy, a checks and balances, where there isn't that sole responsibility on one person. There's got to be a checks and balances. But we often forget that. Yeah. And we often just go, you supposed to. You
the person that's the reason why.
Yeah. When we certainly take accountability for the vision of how things should be laid out. And then it certainly is our job to make sure that the key players are in place and that those key players are doing their part and playing their role. But there is a line between the decision maker, the visionary, and the executor. And that's what is a democracy.
Okay, so I'm curious, for those that don't know, and I'm going to take it back to high school, middle school, what is the role of the mayor?
Yeah, so I'll give you the general answer, and then it varies based on the municipality that you're in.
Okay.
So for our city, our mayor's role has changed from one administration to the other.
Okay.
So generally, the mayor's role anywhere you are is to set the vision for the future of the city. Right. So whether that's like we talked about, growing economic development for Stonecrest. Rather that's creating a vision for more housing mixes. Rather that's creating a vision for a better infrastructure in roads and transportation. It is to set the vision.
Okay.
It sets the temperament, it sets the tone, it sets the pace, and it sets the vision. In some cities, there's what you call a strong mayor, there's a weak mayor, and then there's a council manager form of government.
Okay.
And those words aren't necessarily literal, but a strong mayor is like Mayor Dickens in the city of Atlanta, where
Okay.
he's a strong mayor.
Okay.
So he has an office of the mayor all by himself.
Okay.
Separate from the city council. Where in Stonecrest we don't. Right. I am in a council manager form of government, which means our city manager does the day-to-day operations. Where in Mayor Dickens' campaign or his role, he is the day-to-day.
Okay.
Right. So he is making day-to-day decisions. Where my city manager makes day-to-day decisions for us.
Okay.
In what they call a weak mayor form of government, it's almost like all the mayor there is just a ceremonial figurehead.
Okay.
So a council manager form of government is it's similar to a hybrid of strong and weak, in that there's still many responsibilities outside of being mayor, besides being ceremonial. But the city manager is responsible for the execution part of what we were talking about earlier. All the staff reports to the city manager, not to the mayor.
Okay.
All right. So when there's recruiting and retention or turnover, they attribute it to me.
Even though you're not over the
But I don't
day-to-day
hire and
operations.
fire.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I do appoint the city manager. And there are some other positions in the state law that the mayor has to appoint. But I don't do the hiring, firing.
Right.
Even with my executive assistant, I have to go through the formal HR process because technically every employee reports directly to the city manager.
So you can't just be like, hey, I want this person. They have to go through the whole process.
Absolutely. I have to go through the entire process. I have to interview. I have to follow the HR policies. Even that staff member is held to the HR policies that every other staff member is held to. I have very little to do with. Now, obviously, the city manager would be strange to make a decision about my executive
right
without my
input. With
your
input. Exactly.
But yeah, technically, all the hiring and firing is over there. So we have to partner in the accountability, right? Because as mayor, I'm still accountable for the way the city is moving, but I'm not necessarily by law the decision maker on how those things move.
I wish more people knew that. I feel like in hearing you say that, like I feel so many myths are being dispelled because generally when you think of mayor, we do think mayors make all the decisions when no, there's a process for this and there's a balance of power. So I'm just curious, walk me through a day in your life.
Oh man. So
depends on which day it is.
Yeah, definitely. Today was one for the book. So I'll walk you through that, but I want to kind of add a little bridge here and a caveat that, being a city that's well established has a lot different experiences than a new city. So even in a council manager form of government, an older city kind of works out those kinks long before now. Right?
Okay.
Well, for us, because we're a new city, a growing city, a maturing city, there are things that are demanded of the mayor that maybe wouldn't be
there
if it was an older city.
Okay.
So, Stonecrest is hot and always has been.
Facts.
But, so we are highly sought after right now in many things because
really?
we're moving in so many directions trying to build, right? So businesses that are with us today, they want to talk to the mayor. They want to know what the vision is and how we're making policy that helps their business be sustainable, right?
Wow.
They're not like, let me go talk to the city manager. Right?
They want to go straight to...
Yeah, they want to talk to the figurehead. Right? So there's a demand there that maybe in an established city, the city manager will be in those conversations more often than not because they are the ones responsible for the staff member who's responsible for executing economic development. So there's also, we're in our infancy stage where we're trying to make service delivery changes, right? So as we're talking about what is the next service that we take from the county and transition into the city, that's a mayor conversation.
Okay.
Right? That's the city manager is the executor, but not the decision maker. Right? So the city manager is going to take the direction of the
Of them.
electeds. So it's the electeds that have to come to the decision. So that requires the mayor, right? There's residents who want to talk to the mayor.
Really?
About how things go.
Are they allowed to do that?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
absolutely.
Okay.
They're not like, let me go talk to the city manager, right?
They're not. That's the first thing on their
Yeah,
mind.
they
Okay.
want to talk to the mayor. So when I'm talking with MARTA, when I'm talking with ARC and these larger, and that's Atlanta Regional Commission, these larger stakeholders, when we're talking to the State Economic Development Department, right? They want to talk to the mayor, right? Because we are the figurehead.
Right. You're the face of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of demand from the role that makes people feel like there's more power in it.
So is it just being the forefront, the person in the front that makes people feel like, oh, she must have all the power because I always see her?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
When I certainly am a big part of the influence on how things get done, right? And again, I set the tone and the pace for how we accomplish things, and whether we're going to be business friendly or not is solely based on the approach we take to policy, right? So there is a heavy responsibility in having that influence, but influence is different than power.
Can you tell us the difference real quick? Because I want people to know what the difference is. That's something really y'all need to influencer wannabes.
So power is I don't have to ask anybody about anything. I can just make a decision and so shall it be.
Okay.
Right? Influence is the ability to galvanize people to believe in a vision or a mission or a purpose and get those people to walk with you into that solution.
Okay.
Right? That's influence.
Okay.
Being able to pick up the phone and say, I would like to see Stonecrest move in this direction. Can you assist me in that? And get people, like I said, to
come on board.
to come together, right? And then that influence carries a heavy weight, which I actually think is better than power.
I was going to ask you, which one do you think is more?
I would rather the ability to influence, because you're putting more than one brain at the table, right? When you just have the power to do all,
Just do it and get done.
You really don't think to lend or to lean on other people or lend your hand out so that they also have the ability to come up with you. When you have the power, you just go.
Right.
It's very, very selfish.
Yeah.
But the power to influence means that there is a give and take. That means that I will pull you up as you assist me in pulling my city up. And so we will build together. And that building starts small and then grows larger. Power just remains one.
Boy, you preaching today, man. Boy, she had a whole. I'm over here like, yeah, I just went through that. Oh my God. So for you, how does it feel, and especially being the Women Are Dope show, how does it feel to have a woman in office, being the mayor with that much influence? Like, do you get a lot of flack, a lot of pushback?
I wouldn't say I get a lot of flack and pushback, but I certainly can feel the jealousy.
Really?
Oh yeah.
How do you handle it? Because I know being in a professional space, how does that, like, what is it, like, what are you thinking inside when you're seeing those things?
Well, I think it's unfortunate when I see it. It certainly doesn't make me feel good. But that's the world.
Yeah.
That's life. That's the world. I try really hard to focus on the mission at hand and not to get, I'm human, right? So I get, a little caught up sometimes, but I try to focus very, very heavily on what is the mission, because you can't control other people,
right?
And they can't control me. So as long as I'm clear on who has the control of me, then the jealousy, I see it.
But that's
and
it.
I'm not a fool. I can respond and pivot the way I need to. And the more I get that, the more experience I get with being able to maneuver around it.
Absolutely.
If I didn't see it, I wouldn't know how to react to it. So the more I see it, the better I become at reacting, which just makes the influence greater.
Wow. Because it's the ability to kind of just move through the room.
Yeah.
So walk me through a day in your life. Yeah. And I know today was a crazy day, so you can pick what day you want to walk me through. But I'm just curious, like, tell me how Mayor Jazzmin gets the job done.
So it's funny because I'll walk you through a day that I'm just being mayor.
Okay.
Because another misnomer, especially in a council manager form of government, I'm not a full-time mayor.
Okay. Oh, wow.
I work full-time.
For real?
Yes. Like, I have a full-time job.
Yeah. I didn't even know you had the option to, like...
So, like, Mayor Andre Dickens is full-time.
Yeah.
That's all he does, right? Because he's a strong mayor. Our CEO Thurman, he's a strong CEO. That's all he does. I am a council manager mayor.
Wow.
So I have to work full time. So while we were describing the demands, of the mayor, I have to balance that in a day where I work somewhere else.
Wow.
And it is very much a struggle. And I knew that when I ran, by the way, so I want to level set here that
Right.
I'm not complaining about that. And I'll tell you why in a minute, but I knew coming in that was going to be challenging. But that challenge did not supersede the desire to see my city achieve the things I know it can achieve.
Wow.
So I just said, I'll just figure it out. Right? Because
that's a big figure.
There's no way that the city doesn't get what it needs and doesn't get to a point that I know it can get to. There's nothing that will stop me from doing my part in getting the city on its feet. Not even a full-time job.
Good Lord, like.
So yeah, this we were talking about earlier about like people thinking that or me feeling like people think I don't care about certain things, right? If nothing else tells you that I care more than anything else, I balance a full-time job and this city. So when people say all the things that they say,
that's like the biggest,
like remind folks,
yeah,
I am making the largest sacrifice that anyone could make. Not only sacrificing time with my family, I have a school-age son. I have a marriage that we are in 10 years in September.
Wow, congratulations.
Which is still young. A young child and a budding career.
Yeah.
And I still choose Stonecrest.
Dang.
So when people say, "Oh, you don't care," she does.
No, I care way more, a whole lot more than you know.
More than most would.
Wow.
It's kind of a sick and twisted infatuation I have with
seeing Stonecrest come up.
Yeah.
So did you, when you were running, did you ever lose sleep on?
Oh God.
For real?
I still lose sleep today.
Really?
I'm dog tired.
But I call them good problems. Would you say that your role as mayor is like a good problem? Because there are some people that wish they had the opportunity to serve in the capacity that you do. Like I feel like you wouldn't change it for the world.
No, I wouldn't change it for the world. Absolutely not. And it is a good problem to have. It doesn't take away from it being a problem.
Okay.
But it is a good problem to have. I just have the grace to be able to balance both. And people ask me all the time, how do you do that? Excuse me. And I have no answer for how I balance it. Because I don't think I balance it. I just think that I am, by the grace of God, He continues to give me the ability to do both.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't call it a balance.
It's funny you said that because I had somebody on the show and they were saying, I think you get to a certain point in success where everything's not going to be balanced all the time.
Yeah.
That's kind of unrealistic. You just got to kind of pray and keep it moving. Because sometimes it's going to be like this. Sometimes it's going to be like that.
Yeah. Absolutely. So back to your question. Today was one of the days where my full-time job took the majority of my day, including my mental space.
Wow.
Like it was one of those days. A lot of times I can kind of think of both simultaneously and make decisions on both together. But today wasn't one of those days. Today was heavy, my full-time job. So I'll tell you the day in the life of just being mayor.
Okay.
When I'm not jumping back and forth. I often start off very early with having to travel to get to an appearance or an event, or if I'm not reading a story at an elementary school, I am going, across town to meet with stakeholders, or I am just preparing to move outside of Stonecrest. Believe it or not, a lot of my time is spent outside of Stonecrest, meeting with stakeholders, if it's not, the state or other city officials or county officials or even federal officials.
Wow.
A lot of my time I'm moving between Stonecrest and other places, still all working on behalf of Stonecrest, but not everything
is within
the city. So I usually start really early. Sometimes I don't even get a chance to drop my son off at school. Sometimes it's that early.
Wow.
Because we have to get to the other side of town
right
at a certain time. And then I often spend a lot of my day in meetings. Believe it or not. I could have 6 or 7 meetings back to back to back. And that could be with potential business owners, current business owners, residents. It could be those who have civic or nonprofit organizations who are interested in doing something in the city. Those who may be looking to relocate into the city. It could be large investors that would like to be a part of the economic development movement that we're having. And we're very particular about what and who can
Is a
come
part
here.
of, yeah.
So I take it very seriously in those conversations, because every business, even though we're trying to aggressively grow economic development, everybody's not for us.
Absolutely.
And we're not, you know, they say beggars can't be choosy, but I don't believe that we're beggars.
I don't think so either.
I don't believe that at all. So I'm very choosy about what will come, what will work, what is our comprehensive plan, what's our future land use, does that fit in, does that not fit in, you know, what will our community, for the most part, being acceptance of, what won't it, what is our law around, you know, there's a lot of into that. But so I can spend the majority of my day after kind of getting out of the city for meetings, coming back into the city, and we're back at another 6 or 7 meetings. And some of those are internal, you know, as we're working. I meet with the city manager every week. We meet every single Friday. And obviously we talk every day, but we formally meet every Friday. I meet with many of our directors, depending on what projects we have going on. I will circle around to the directors. I could easily, if there's events going on, I'm talking to the events coordinator about, you know, what's my role in the event. If it's a brainchild event of mine, I'm usually even more engaged. Because I just want to
like your expo that you rolled out the screen on the green. Okay.
Yep. So I want to be more hands-on there, making sure the vision is
coming the vision won't wait.
Right,
Okay. All right.
absolutely. So then I could easily end my day with an evening meeting, usually with a constituent who, you know, is trying to overcome a challenge, whether it's the county, we need help getting the county to move on something, or it belongs to us and we need to get it to the right person to solve that problem for them. I have a lot of evening meetings with constituents because obviously they work throughout the day.
Yep.
And clearly so.
I do too.
So we have a lot of evening meetings. And then I could easily leave City Hall well after 6, 7 o'clock and go to an event where someone's asked me to speak or be a part of a panel or go to an HOA meeting. Or a, you know, Discover DeKalb event, or easily
anywhere duty calls, basically.
And so my day, I could end my day well after 9 or 10 o'clock. I'm just getting home.
When do you get rest? Do you
Sometime
get rest
between midnight and about 6. And usually it's really more like 1 or 2 in the morning, and then I'll get back up at about 6 or 7.
You have to really love what you do and be passionate about this city to move how you move.
Yes, absolutely. That is literally what takes the fatigue away. And I described to you a Monday or a Tuesday.
So
a Saturday is even crazier.
Really?
Yeah. Like this Saturday coming up is wild.
What's your Saturday looking like this Saturday?
Crazy.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, it's like 9 to 9 on a Saturday.
So when do you make time for your personal life? I'm just curious. Like,
so this year I've been doing much better about being intentional. So on my calendar, we've blocked off 1 weekend a month.
I love that.
That's my personal weekend, and it's not the same weekend each month. And I try really hard to stick to that. Although, to be honest, this weekend was supposed to be my personal weekend.
My bad.
And it got jammed up. But we just swapped it. Luckily, there's one at the end of the month that so far is a little lighter. So we decided to move it.
Okay.
But yeah, I did not do that before. So the first 2 years of my special election term, I didn't do any personal anything. And that really took a toll on me and my family. So I committed this year to designating 1 weekend each month. And not one day, like Saturday and Sunday, to not do Stonecrest.
Wow.
Which is insanely difficult.
To get it, is that hard to like get it off your mind?
Yeah. I mean, just because I'm not doing it doesn't mean I'm not actually
thinking
doing
about
it here. But yeah, it's really difficult to because you have to tell somebody no.
Yeah.
Right? And that's really hard for me. It's really hard. One of my goals, I don't do resolutions, but one of my goals is to say no more.
Okay.
Which is really hard.
Wow, for
I'm
real?
still not good at it.
I feel like I could just see you saying no. I feel like I looked up, no. For real? Oh my goodness. Listen, we're going to take a quick music break. When we come back, we're going to wrap up with Mayor Jazzmin Cobble. If you are not tapped in on this conversation, you don't know what you are missing. The conversation is hot. We are Stonecrest proud. A lot of information about the city, what we got going on, what to expect, and who knows, she might be around your block. So y'all stay locked in right there. 101 TKO Radio, knocking them out the box. Holla. 101 TKO Radio. That was Mario with You Should Let Me Love You. Music was good back then.
I know.
Do you have any favorite artists?
If I was gonna sing, that would be one I would sing.
For real?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you like
I remember when
karaoke?
Mario like first hit the scene. We were young.
When his nostrils was real big?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I saw in Mario was his nostrils. Like, he can sing, but his nostrils is
Yeah,
flaming.
he got some vocals for sure.
Yeah, I think he's underrated for sure.
Yeah.
So bringing the conversation around board, what are some of the plans that you have for Stonecrest? And I know it's a loaded question, but what stands out to your mind the first, like some immediate projects that, we as Stonecrest, natives and residents can look forward to coming down the pipeline?
Yeah. I mean, economic development for us is really, really number one on our minds. To branch from that, in order for there to be a successful economic development ecosystem, we have to have public safety. So we realize that there, is a need for improvement in the public safety side, and we use the county today.
Okay.
So we are trying to work very closely to figure out the solution to that public safety. Obviously not just for the economic development portion, but our residents.
Yeah.
We want folks to feel good and safe about where they live, knowing that we can't control people, but we certainly want to have a strong public safety presence. So this year in the budget, we've created a public safety liaison position.
Okay.
So we hope to have that onboarded by the end of next quarter. And that person's sole job will be to be the bridge, the liaison, literally, between the city and the county on all lines of public safety.
Wow.
So police is just one line of public safety.
Okay.
There's fire, there's 911, there's animal control. So there's many different lines of public safety. We only think of police, but there are many more.
Okay.
So we want this person to be solely responsible for that liaison back and forth. While we're waiting, or not waiting, but while we're in the process of onboarding that individual, we've already begun work with the county to improve our IGAs for the service. So intergovernmental agreements for the services that they provide to us now.
Okay.
Because we are still the county's customer in many lines of service. And public safety is one of them. So improving our police IGA has been top priority for us. I wish it moved faster than it did. We do our side, and then we send it over there. They do their side, and then they send it back, and we do our side.
Oh, wow.
And
It's a bunch of different givens.
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth. And legal stuff just takes a long time.
Yeah.
But you want to get it right. So I hope we're at very close to being at our last iteration of that. And really, it's not really complicated stuff, but it is measures we wanted to add that give us some insight into accountability. So being able to see a little bit more data than we have now about what is the police services and how they're being provided to us. But we do have a very good working relationship with our East Precinct.
Okay.
Major Barron has been wonderful. Her lieutenants over there have also been we have a very close relationship.
Okay.
Understanding that Stonecrest is the largest footprint in the county. We're the largest city by square mileage and by population in the county. So we have the highest crime
because we got the most people.
We have the most people.
Yeah, and I don't think people see that. Like it's a very deep county. Like it's a lot of people.
Yeah, we have a lot of people here. So there's crime, but trying to do what we can when we don't provide the service to be a partner with the county and to augment police services. So we allocated $750,000 out of our American Rescue Plan funds to augment police services with the county. So we're in conversation about what that looks like. So we hope to see that, and we may even have that laid out before the liaison gets here, but we certainly want them to put their eyes on what that plan is. Yeah, because they'll ultimately be responsible for
seeing
making
it
sure
through.
that both sides are doing their part. So economic development, like I said, is strong for us, but that has an arm, and that arm, I would say, the very next in line would be public safety.
Okay. So I'm just curious, why do you think Privy is such a great addition to the city of Stonecrest? I know I have my answers, but I want our listeners to hear directly from the mayor what Privy actually is bringing to the table that I don't think a lot of people realize. Yeah.
So not only is it bringing something to Stonecrest, it's bringing something that you don't see anywhere else around us either. Right? So to be able to champion a development that is unique, right? It gives people a reason to come, right? It's an attraction. One of the things we believe is that we are our own best kept secret.
Yeah.
Right. And we no longer want to be that secret. Most of us, some of us still.
Don't tell nobody we're
Some of us still kind of want to be that. And we're trying trying to preserve what we can for in that space, right? Preserve the character areas that are quiet and serene and have its natural habitat because we understand the legacy that it has and what it holds and what it brings to our community. But we also feel like that is a champion, a piece that we can champion that we haven't, right? Is that we in our 38 square miles can be all of those things in one place. When you think of other cities, you think of the one thing that you know them for.
Yes.
Right? It's that one thing. Right? But we in Stonecrest believe that we are more than just that one thing because we have this footprint, because we're so unique in the ability to have mansions and estate lots, but be right down the street from a vineyard, to be right down the street from a mountain, and then you turn around and you're on Panola and Covington Highway where there's density and there's people and there's activity, right? And then you come to one of the only regional malls on this side of the country, and it's buzzing and it's bustling with activities, but you can still drive not far, take 2 rights and a left, and you'll be on Klondike in the back of
Arabia, right?
Where you have no service,
seclusion all the way, like you don't even exist no more,
right? Like you can't hear a thing, and it's peaceful, right? So we believe that we can be all that in 38 square miles, and Privy is a place that fits into that mold because it is an attraction for people. It is something that we can champion, one as being unique to most places, but also certainly something that will attract people here.
So before I get out of here, I promise you I'm gonna get out your way. What are some things that we as Stonecrest residents can do starting now to lean in more towards, helping our government, or just leaning our ear towards being more active and pushing that agenda?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I appreciate that because most people don't ask.
I want to know.
I think the first part is to be engaged in not just what we're doing, but how it gets done, right? I think there's a difference between being engaged in what we're doing than understanding how we get that done. And there's a lot of community engagement opportunities that I don't think that we particularly maybe advertise amongst each other enough, right? We're doing all we can to advertise it as a city. But there's more than just the council meetings that are on second and fourth Monday. Obviously, that's an opportunity for you to give your public comment, but we can't respond back, right, in that setting. But there are many other different types of community engagement that we can get that feedback from that I think folks don't share enough amongst our community, but also, when you're just looking for an opportunity to grandstand, that's not an opportunity to engage, right? That's just me letting you vent.
That's it.
Right. And I'll certainly let you do that. But if you want to have meaningful discussion, right, we've got to take advantage of some of these other opportunities that allow for that. So it's not just a council meeting, right? It's not just a town hall meeting.
But it's an exchange
of all of these things put together. It's not just blasting on social media what you don't like.
Yeah.
Right? Because we get that. Right?
Yes.
We're a part of the community too. We don't like some of the very same things that you don't like. I mean, I live here too, right? There's, I think we forget sometimes that we also live here.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So I want the pothole repaired just as quickly as you do. But the county does the pothole repairs.
So here we are. Yeah.
So there's a process, right? There are some uses that I don't want here, just like you don't. But there's also law, and there's also rights of property owners, right, that we have to balance. I can't just snatch a property from someone because I don't like that they sell tobacco, right? I don't like that they sell tobacco. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But they own the property.
So
the property has zoning rights. So it may take a little bit to get around that. You know what I mean? We may have to change what zoning looks like or redefine a certain area, which we're not always patient about.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean that
it's not.
We want it there.
Right.
I don't want to get in too much trouble. Legal will not be happy, but there are definitely stores that I don't want here.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think they add value to our community. I think that we're worthy of better. I think that we have to give options to every level of income, but I don't think that means that the lower end of the income deserves the lower end of product or quality.
Yeah.
But I just can't say you can't come, right? There's law that protects the rights of property owners. Just like you can't come on my property and just take it from me.
Right.
I also can't do that to a commercial owner.
Very
of
true. And just say,
land.
hey, I don't like what you're doing or selling, and just get it out of here.
So go, right? So I have to find ways through public policy to change that. And then there are laws around how much public policy
You can actually change. In effect, yeah.
Absolutely. So, there's ways to engage. I think that we just don't share enough about in our community. We only talk about go to council meeting and tell them how upset you are. Or wait for a town hall meeting and just go ham.
And just
on
voice
the council
everything,
member. Right,
yeah.
yeah. But that's not meaningful engagement. It's one thing to get I know what you don't like, and I want you to tell me that, because how can I create public policy around things I don't know that you want or don't want?
Right.
But I also want an equal opportunity to explain the process of how we get there, and then for folks to accept that.
Yeah.
Right? And even if the acceptance means I accept what it is, let's talk about how to change that.
That'll work.
I can take that too.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But we need to do better as a community, I think, of sharing the different types of engagement opportunities there are. And we're trying the best we can to diversify what that engagement looks like. I've started doing mayor's press briefings.
Okay.
And I don't know the dates off the top of my head. I want to say they're all Fridays, but there's a couple of them that we had to change because of my schedule. But they're listed on the graphic and on the flyer that we put out. And that's an opportunity to engage, right? I'm spending 30 to 45 minutes, myself, the city manager, and Major Barron out of the East Precinct, talking about the things that we've accomplished in the last month, right, the month before it, and then things to come. So that's an opportunity to engage, right, which is not traditional, right? That's not the traditional town hall meeting or the council meeting, but it's a way to diversify how often we get to talk to people. We're adding more events to our calendar.
I see that. I be peeping at like, we doing something else? Okay.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So folks said we wanted to have more opportunities for the community to gather and engage one another. So we're putting all this into events. But the same people that are complaining about not having the opportunity,
They ain't showing up. Yeah, you ain't even seeing the changes that you're asking
or
for
you're
to put in
not
place.
promoting them.
Yeah.
Right? So it's kind of like, once we do the things you say that we didn't do, it's radio silent on those. Right, instead of promoting and being champions of the things that you asked for and then so said we gave, it's radio silent. I'm just moving on to the next thing that I don't like.
Yeah.
Right. But and I think there's value certainly into talking about the things that we don't like, because we need to get to a change. But we can build a better community if we're doing both.
Yeah.
Right. And there's just a lot of focus on. That's why I said I thank you and I appreciate you asking the question, because you never have to ask, well, when can I tell you what I don't like?
Yeah.
Right. They tell me that at the grocery store
all the time.
They tell me that.
They tell you that
gas station.
first more than anything.
My son's like, I don't want to go with you to the store if we're going to the store in Stonecrest.
Oh, wow.
Because we can't get in and out.
Because it's always going to be
Yeah, and it's not always a terrible exchange.
But
sure.
it's just,
Some people
yeah.
are very excited, and they want to talk about it, but I can't shop.
By the Brussels sprouts, talking about something. You know what? I don't even want this chicken no more. I ain't going to order takeout tonight.
Yeah. So, let's take advantage of the opportunities that we can engage. And I certainly want to talk to people in the community. Don't get me wrong. I like the conversation. I will talk. My son, on the other hand, is like, oh, God, here we go. But I'll talk to you all day about things, as you can see. But yeah, just sharing more of the engagement opportunities, I think, is how we start understanding what we want, and then we take it deeper into figuring out or learning how we get to that. Because I think that's the biggest thing that we have yet to accept is the how. Even if that how needs to be changed.
But it's
let's
still
learn what it is now.
Yeah.
And then we can learn what it takes to make the change if we feel like it needs changing.
I love your whole just angle and your approach to it, because I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but you are saying you're not okay with how things are. You're like, look, this is how it's been done. I get it, but this is how it's gonna work for us to get to the next spot. And so many politicians, they get in office and they're like, I'm just going to keep running whatever's been running, but you are here to implement change, to stimulate the economy and to bring more, about for the community that we need. So I'm excited to continue, watching you work. Whatever you got coming down the line, Mayor, let me know. I will hop in your DM real quick. Like, let me repost this for you real quick or something. Let us know. I think that, you being in this position is one of the best things that Stonecrest can have. So if ain't nobody gave you your flowers, let me give you your flowers now.
Well, thank you.
We respect you. We love the work. And 101 will definitely be behind anything you have going on. If you got some in the community, Chelsea, you going to bring your station out? Say less. However we can help. We have our app. We can push the flyer. So however we can engage, let us know, because I think a lot of people forget that radio is about the community.
Yeah.
Our job is to be a voice of the people, and we can't do that without sitting down with those movers and shakers like you. So I just thank you for sitting down with me, and I feel like she should come back like once a month. You know what I'm saying?
I would love to.
I feel like you should, because we need updates.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I want to come back and tell you things that we're working on, things that we've accomplished, things that you can help us with. So anything we put on social media, I don't put things on social media if it can't be shared or so if it's on there, take it and run. Take it and run with it for sure. Before you go, I want to tell you my radio story. So, in my many talents, when I was at Albany State, I was on the radio. It was 92.7
for real.
WSU, no lie, and we won Black College Radio Station of the Year that year.
So what you saying? You trying to come have a show? Right?
So this was when I'm not. I wish I could, but this is when you didn't have an engineer.
Okay.
So you had to run the board and be on the microphone.
Those are the good days.
And you had to do it all.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember running from one side of the booth to the other, because in order for you to hear your set, you had to record it on the other side.
To then go run.
Then when you had a break, you would run to the other side, rewind it, play it to listen. And then, okay, I'm going to say that better next time. I'm going to do this better. And then you fast forward it again, so you get back to the blank end of the tape, and then run back around. Right? You only got 10 seconds, 30 seconds.
I'm going to say, how did you do that?
So you're running back and forth. Oh man, so many times we were having great sessions, and I did not unmute. It's oh god.
That's the killer right there, when you miss all that good content, and you
yeah, because you think you're running the whole board.
Yeah.
So it's people would text and be like, "We can't hear you," and I was like, "Oh,
God. That's the worst."
That was the early days. So it was rough going in the early days, but we were able to get Radio Station of the Year, and I never forget Beanie Siegel came.
What? I know that was through your roof. I know you were on
Beanie
10.
and Freeway. Oh man, and it wasn't my show. So my show was no. I think the show before mine was wrapping up, and they were just coming in. So my show was next, and so of course they wanted the more experienced folks to do it, and I was like, no way. They are from Philly. I'm doing this interview.
Did you get to do it?
Yeah. I was like, y'all could be here.
But you wouldn't come off that spot, huh?
No. I was like, nope, they're doing it right here on this show. It was so exciting.
How was that for you?
That was crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it a hot interview? Were you nervous?
Absolutely. 100%. Mainly because I didn't know what they were going to say.
Really?
Yeah, because I was like, I'm not in music, right?
So you just weren't sure where to...
Yeah, I was like, I don't know
where to even go with this. Yeah.
I'll start talking about Broad Street.
Everything but.
Yeah, we'll just start having a conversation about Philly.
About Philly.
Yeah, and it'll be nothing about
whatever they got going on. Y'all gonna be reminiscing, talking about.
I was super nervous because I was like, I don't want to waste their time. But I want to talk about Philly, so.
How you know such and such as my cousin?
And they were really, they probably don't remember, this is a long time ago, but they were very excited that they were talking to somebody from Philly. And then I let my co-workers, but we were students. I let them, jump in. I just wanted my few minutes, and then they could have
And you was good after that?
Yeah, they could have it.
Okay.
So that was really exciting. But yeah, I used to do radio back in the day.
Listen, well, what do you know? Well, listen, I am publicly and formally giving you that door, so you ask your staff to let me know whenever your free time is, because even if you're doing your Friday night, your mayor debriefings, and you decide you want to transfer that audio on air, or you want to I think once a month we need to hear from you, because with everything that's being developed, how can we be a part of Privy? How can we say that we're here and we're not even hearing from you and not using our platform to show people and tell them how these things are done? It's you cannot know the solution and not implement it. If that's the case, then you become a part of the problem.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to be that.
I like it. Let's definitely make sure we connect there so we can keep getting updates. And make sure you send me, I'm doing my Fly Fridays.
Okay, look, I've been watching that. Yeah.
Come on, you got to send me some merch.
Okay, I got you.
So I can rep.
I got you.
And I need it because I got to figure out what J's I'm going to put on.
All right, I got you.
Or sometimes it's not J's, but Most times they are.
I'm gonna get you some
But,
one-on-one
yeah.
stuff. Some women are dope. So I'm gonna make sure you're geared out.
Because I got to get the fit together.
You got to now.
So I can promote right.
Because you know when you pop out that chair, hello. I said, look at old
Yeah.
G Money right there.
Okay.
G Cole, real quick. Said
They're
it's-
going to get better and better.
But you know
they're
what?
a little rough right now, but they're going to get better and better.
But thank you, because our generation needs to see that, like, politics they affect us all.
Yeah.
So to just be one-dimensional, you're not doing justice to it. So thank you for taking that approach, so that the average person, the DJ or the
Right.
creative can say, that's the mayor. Because my homeboy, when he met you, he's still talking about how soft your hands were. I kid you not. He's like, the mayor coming her hand. I'm like, you know what? We need
People
security
tell me all
for
the
people like you. Like, he has not stopped raving about your hands. I'm like, it's been almost a year. Her hands gonna be
People
on the
told me
road.
there since high school, though. It's just
Really?
Like,
What you use for
so
your
good.
hands?
I don't know. Nothing. I mean, I work hard.
I was say that's that hard work. That's that hard.
I
That's
moisturize well, I guess. I don't know.
that's that ASU
It's always
basketball.
Something. One of my best friends, she says, you have hands like you're aging. I was like, what?
What?
She's like, you have hands like you're aging.
I don't know how to take
Okay.
that.
I
Like,
don't know. I guess elders have soft skin. I don't know. She's like, your hands are. It's like you're aging. I was like, okay.
I just feel like your hands are supple.
They're just moisturizable, I guess. I don't know. But
That-
it's funny you said that because many people
For real,
say this. I mean,
when
yeah.
you shake hands at
They're like, oh
meetings,
my god, your hands are soft. Like,
I
they
think
kind
it's-
of react abruptly.
I haven't had a soft hand like the man. Even my hand, I'm like, let me get me some little lotion or something.
I
Like,
mean, maybe my fingertips wouldn't be as soft because I type a lot. I don't know.
okay. What's your WPM? How fast you type? I'm curious.
No.
No. Well, I thank you for giving me time. I'm looking forward to sitting down with you again.
I'm
As we
excited.
said, once a month, we're going to have
Yeah.
you coming in, letting us know what's going on in the community. We will be sharing the flyers and all those things on our app as well, so we can get that out in front of everybody.
Thank you.
If you're not doing anything this weekend, definitely come out this weekend. The mayor will be at Women Are Dope. But more than anything, email, connect, give us your feedback. Let us know how you feel, and we'll show you how it's done so we can improve the process together. So with that being said, any
said
last
it.
minute shout outs?
Shout out all of the city of Stonecrest. We are Stonecrest proud.
Ew.
We are working hard every day to make you proud. And we wear Stonecrest proudly. Just trying to build this community. We believe we're the best city on the planet.
Period.
And there's no mistaking it. So we're just working together really, really hard to get us to that point. And we're excited about every day that is before us. Challenges are good and solutions are better.
Yeah.
So we work every day on getting to that point and continue to just stay Stonecrest proud.
I love it. We love the work you do. We support you. And you guys, make sure you stay Stonecrest proud by downloading that 101 TKO radio app and making
Better do
sure
it.
you lock in. Follow Mayor Jazzmin Cobble on all social media platforms. But remember, your community needs you. So get out there, do something, make some shake. With that being said, it's your girl, I am Chelsea Speaks. Make sure you stay locked in on 101 TKO radio, knocking them out the box.